Oh.
No one?
Okay, just us today. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. This is a regular meeting of the Recycled Water Committee of Monterey One Water. We're here in the Monterey One Water Boardroom on Harris Court in Monterey. It's Thursday, January 15th, 2026 at 3 p.m., 3:03 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order, and we'll take a roll call as to who's present.
Rhonda,
Here.
Castroville,
Here.
Marina Coast, Monterey,
Here.
Pacific Grove.
Here. All right, thank you very much. We have a quorum. We'll proceed over to item three. Mr. Shudo, are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions.
All right, we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
Approval?
Second.
Motion by Williamson, second by Habino. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we will proceed as stated in the agenda. At this time, we'll take any general public comments on matters not appearing on today's agenda. There are no members of the public in our chambers, and there are none online, so we'll go ahead and pass through item 5 to item 6. We're now at item 6A, approval of recycled water committee minutes.
Approval?
Second.
Motion by Williamson, second by Abino. There are no members of the public to comment on the items, so we will not take public comment on this item. And we'll go ahead and, if there's no further discussion, I'll take a voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Hearing no opposition, passes 4-0. We'll move on to item 6B, and I believe it's Mr. Thompson.
So, Nick, I was just going to do a brief introduction with some background on the project because we're actually starting to get into it, as Matt will show you shortly with his presentation. So, as you well know, we've had reliability issues with power at the treatment plant for many, many years. In addition, with the increase in power demands with Pure Water Monterey online, et cetera, we started looking at a variety of ways to try to control those costs as well as increase reliability. If you go back, probably, I don't even remember when this was, in 2021-ish, too, we did the study with Regen with the at then assumption that would be working together on a renewable energy project for the entire campus. We're still in communication. I talk with Felipe periodically. We are working on a project now to uh, land regen power to advanced water purification facilities, but we aren't joined at the hip when it comes to some of our new projects coming online. So you probably saw within the agenda, there's a number of projects that you're going to be approving today. And that's sort of the start of all this. Um, as you know, I know Tyler was there, Ron was there. In December, we had the ribbon cutting for the food waste digestion or food waste co-digestion. And that is sort of the impetus to start generating more biogas, which will ultimately lead to conditioning of biogas to renewable natural gas and an array of linear generators to help power the treatment plant. So it all works in concert with one another with the existing electrical work that's being done at the treatment plant. So you, the board, are about to embark upon uh, a large project, frankly. And Matt will go into the dollars. I think we've told you before it's in the 40, $50 million range over the next few years. And at this coming board meeting are these first few projects going out to bid later this year, maybe April-ish on the $40 million package. So it's that commitment, if you will. So, things that Matt has outlined is what's the potential payback? Early on in the study time, we looked at payback periods and they varied quite a bit. I think we're tailoring them a little bit more. There are still a number of variables out there, such as the investment tax credit, and Johanna can touch on that a little bit as well. what the tariff rates are for renewable natural gas. Can we sell other environmental credits, attributes associated with this project? So we'll try to give you the best business case we possibly can, but with the understanding underlying everything is that reliability, controlling our costs moving into the future, and frankly, being a good steward of the environment. With that as a backdrop, unless there's any questions, I'd like Matt to take it and start telling you about some of the details.
All right. Good afternoon, committee members. I'm your Director of Engineering, Matt Thompson. I'm pleased to be with you this afternoon to present an update on our renewable energy and electrical reliability program. This will give you some context for some of the action items we have on the agenda today. You will recall in 2024, Monterey One Water and Regen completed a renewable energy and electrical reliability plan. Your engineering team has since completed or began 4 major interrelated projects that were recommended in the plan, all with the goals to maximize renewable energy opportunities and improve electrical power reliability and resilience. These are large projects that will require major spending and focused effort by our staff for the next approximately 4 years. I'd like to take some time to bring you up to speed on the purpose and status of each project. I'm going to run through this quickly. Please feel free to jump in with any questions. I have done my best to anticipate questions you might have, so I'm going to move quickly. All right, first up are the food waste co-digestion facilities. This project enables us to receive food waste diverted from landfills into the anaerobic digesters at the regional treatment plant. This will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase our production of valuable biogas. We completed this project last month and celebrated with a ribbon cutting ceremony. The project included installation of a food waste receiving station where tanker trucks may drop off food waste slurry. That facility is what's shown in this photograph here. The new equipment will help protect the digesters and control odors. The project also included installation of new, more powerful mixers in the anaerobic digesters to ensure good biogas production. The new mixers are more energy efficient than the old mixers. The project cost $9.1 million. A grant from Cal Recycle covered $4.2 million of that. This project is eligible for the federal investment tax credit, which is a direct payment from the Internal Revenue Service for up to 30% of the total project cost. So we're now in the process of applying to the IRS for the tax credit. Assuming we receive the 30% tax credit, the net cost of this project to our agency will be about $2.2 million. All right, the next project, next slide, please. The next project is a very large effort we call the renewable energy improvements. This project will put our increased biogas supplies to its most beneficial use and improve our ability to self-generate clean and reliable electrical power. We intend to upgrade the biogas to pipeline quality renewable natural gas and inject it into PG&E's natural gas pipeline. Sales of renewable natural gas to PG&E will result in new revenue to this agency ranging from $1.9 million to $5.85 million per year. To accomplish this, many improvements to the regional treatment plant are needed. In October 2024, we hired the engineering firm Black & Veatch to design the renewable energy improvements. The project scope is extensive. It includes all the components shown in this exhibit. This includes repairs to all 4 anaerobic digesters, replacement and upsizing of all the biogas piping, includes addition of a biogas conditioning system to remove pollutants and moisture from the raw biogas, addition of a membrane treatment process to upgrade the conditioned biogas to pipeline quality renewable natural gas, new compressors and a pipeline to deliver the renewable natural gas into PG&E's pipeline, which in turn supplies natural gas to the Monterey Peninsula and the Carmel Valley. It includes addition of a renewable natural gas injection station to accurately measure the quality and volume of RNG going into PG&E's pipeline, and new waste gas flares. The project also includes replacement of our existing 35-year-old cogeneration system with new power generation and digester heating systems. Power will be supplied by 5 new linear generators. These generate electrical power much more efficiently and with much lower emissions than the existing internal combustion engines. The digesters will be heated by new high-efficiency boilers. Black & Veatch has made great progress on design of this project in the last year. The plans and specifications will be 90% complete in February. We are preparing to advertise the project for construction bids in April this year, with the goal to begin construction in September this year. The total project cost will be $52.6 million in 2028 dollars, which is the anticipated midpoint of construction of this project. This includes costs that must be paid to PG&E for design and installation of the renewable natural gas injection station. Some of these project costs are the subject of the following items on today's agenda. This project will be financed through a low interest loan from US EPA's Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act loan program, also called WIFIA. This project is also eligible for a federal investment tax credit. The project costs will be paid back by new revenues from renewable natural gas sales. All right. Unless you have questions on that project, we can move on to the next one. Yes, sir.
Through the chair, just a couple of questions. So why the elevated portion of the digester gas pipeline?
Yeah, the existing gas piping dips underground, and it creates a situation where the moisture in the biogas gets trapped in the piping and creates a somewhat dangerous situation where the biogas cannot get out to where we use it beneficially. So by routing the new biogas piping overhead, it will enable us to install condensate. It's called condensate, the moisture, the condensate trap in strategic locations, which will be more easily serviceable by our operations staff.
But how many linear feet are we talking that's going to be exposed above ground? Approximately.
It's a few hundred feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Certainly love for you to think about the possibility that there is some elevated risk, not to be too paranoid here, but elevated risk to sabotage or a weather event
Sure.
along those lines, and how might we protect that elevated section?
Sure.
Why do we need flares? Aren't we capturing and selling to PG&E everything we make?
So the anaerobic digesters will produce biogas continuously, 24 hours a day, just like the sewage is flowing into the facility. It's highly important, although we intend to use the biogas beneficially, maximizing beneficial use of the biogas. In the instance that any of this equipment must go down for maintenance or any other variety of reasons, we cannot allow the biogas to create pressure in the structure of the anaerobic digester. So
Right.
really, for safety reasons, we need to have that sort of third outlet for the biogas, which are the waste gas flares.
You need a backup.
It's a backup. So,
Okay,
yeah.
and presumably the reason PG&E is going to own and operate the injection station is so that they want to have control over what goes into their pipeline.
That's correct. There will be valves on that station such that if we are for some reason producing off specification gas, it'll shut off the system in a way to prevent off spec gas from going into the community gas supply.
But presumably their system also has some shutoffs in case they have to shut gas off for some reason. You can't just let pressure build up.
That's correct.
So I assume there's going to be at least some solid digital communication and an agreement with PG&E so that we know when they're shutting off our sales to them,
Yes.
presumably temporarily.
Yes. And what I want to highlight about this project is that in the event we cannot export renewable natural gas into the PG&E pipeline, we have resilience built into this project. These linear generators are capable of running off a variety of fuels, including renewable natural gas or conditioned biogas. And so we will have a way to beneficially use the biogas during those times when PG&E's pipeline is not available.
By generating more electricity that
Yes.
either we use or we sell to PG&E.
Yes.
The downside, of course, is they pay 1 cent on the dollar's worth of electricity or something along those lines.
So there's an important nuance here when we set up these linear generators, because we will be using some natural gas that we purchase from PG&E. We are not going to oversize this system in a way that we're exporting electricity to PG&E. It's very carefully sized to meet our plant's power needs and not much more.
So we would at times have to flare some natural gas we produce rather than putting it into the generators and producing the
Use
electricity.
for the biogas will be to upgrade it to renewable natural gas and put it into PG&E's pipeline.
Right, sell it to them.
PG&E tells us that there's ample capacity in their pipeline to take all of the RNG that we can produce and more. So we have reason to believe that for the majority of the time, 90+% of the time, all of that gas will be going into PG&E's pipeline.
And I assume, will we have some sort of contract with PG&E for this?
That's correct.
A contract that will come before the board.
What sort of duration?
Typically in the range of 10 to 15 years.
Okay. I would hope we could push it as long as possible.
Pretty long.
So before you go on, I just want to go over the business case that he just laid out for you, because there's a lot of unknowns still. What we do know is the project's ballpark $52 million, right? So you heard him say the revenue for natural gas sales between 2 to 5 million, and I'm rounding here. I'm sorry, 2 to 6 million. So on the lower end, which is unlikely from what we're hearing from PG&E, that payback period is really long if you don't include the grants, if you don't include the investment tax credit and all that stuff, because we don't have that cash in hand. So there's the potential that it could be a 26-year payback. It's really far. What we're betting on, and we're not betting people necessarily, the tariff rate's going to be higher. So is it going to be the 6? Maybe not, but 4, 5, whatever it may be. In addition, if the investment tax credit, which we're applying for right now for the food waste station, but if we do it for the entire thing, that's getting back like $15.6 million potentially. So when you include the higher tariff rates, the investment tax credit, as well as selling those other environmental attributes of the system, our payback period is closer to like 5 to 6 years, in that ballpark range. But I think you, the board, need to understand there's a wide range because there's some variables that are uncertain at this point in time. That makes sense?
Thank you.
Okay.
Slide, please. All right. The next project is the Regen power connection. The neighboring Regen landfill produces an abundant amount of landfill gas and uses it to fuel a 5 megawatt capacity power generating station. For many years, Regen has sold this renewable electricity to PG&E at a very low cost. Since adding the advanced water purification facility, we now have a greater need for reliable, low-cost electricity. This project is to complete a 21,000 volt power connection directly from Regen's power generating station to our advanced water purification facility. Paul sometimes refers to it as a giant extension cord. And we have entered into an energy purchase agreement with Regen, in which Monterey One Water agrees to purchase a minimum of 1,800 kilowatts of electrical power for a much lower cost than we pay PG&E for power. This will save our agency approximately $1.8 million per year. That advanced water purification facility uses a tremendous amount of electricity. We'll be able to produce purified recycled water with 100% renewable electricity. This project will be a big win for both Monterey One Water and Regen. Because again, they're going to get additional revenues because we're going to pay them a little bit more than what they're currently paying, what PG&E is currently paying for power.
And on this one, this is something else that will be coming to the board is an amendment to that existing power purchase agreement that was done way back when. We're going to update it to, well, current rates and other conditions that we have and understand.
Yep. All right. This project includes installation of 3 major components. Regen will soon complete installation of new electrical equipment at their power generating station and an overhead line of power on their side of the fence. We must replace some of the electrical equipment at the advanced water purification facility before the connection is completed. The replacement electrical equipment will come pre-packaged in an integrated power assembly, which is an environmentally controlled enclosure that protects the equipment from the elements. We have a small project under construction now that will get us ready for delivery of the integrated power assembly in March or April. After 2 to 3 months of installation work, we'll complete the power connection and begin purchasing lower cost power from Regen. So this project should be up and operational by the summertime. This project will cost approximately $5.5 million all in. This includes the significant cost of our new electrical switchgear at the advanced water purification facility. We should be able to pay back these costs in about 3 years with the big cost savings in electrical power.
To put it in perspective, what would you say, 1.8 million for power?
Savings
Per
year.
Our current electrical bill for Pure Water Monterey is right around $3.7 million. So this is significant when you look at the overall cost of electricity just for pure water.
Hope that's not per day.
Not yet.
All right. Next slide, please. This last project I have for you is the regional treatment plant electrical upgrade and interconnection. This project will replace and upsize the 35-year-old electrical service from PG&E and equipment at the regional treatment plant and connect the regional treatment plant with the electrical systems of the advanced water purification facility and the Salinas Valley Reclamation Project. This interconnected electrical system will provide many benefits. It will enable us to use power supplied by Regen and the new array of linear generators at all 3 treatment facilities, not just at the AWPF. It opens up the opportunity to purchase more power from Regen or expand the array of linear generators over time as our need for power grows. This diversification of power supplies will greatly improve reliability and enable us to better control our power costs. The upgraded interconnected electrical system will also put us in a much better position for future improvements to the regional treatment plant. We are delivering this project in 2 major parts. First is the regional treatment plant electrical upgrade, and second is the installation of a new power lines and electrical gear to interconnect the regional treatment plant with the other treatment facilities. This is what we call the interconnection. Some people refer to this as the microgrid, but we try to avoid use of that term. So we call it the interconnection. Next slide, please.
Sorry, could I ask one question on this one?
Yes, sir.
In the design process for this, since it's interconnecting 3 really important components, are we making sure that the electrical designers keep it so that there's not somewhere hidden in the system a single point of failure that would take down the entire network?
Correct. That's a very important focus of the design. Yes. Good
Okay.
point. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a
Go
question.
ahead, Todd.
The green line for the interconnection,
Yes.
it is kind of small. So I'm just wondering, is it a 2-way thing that's going?
Yeah, let me explain that a little bit. You would have imagined it as a loop, right? To loop together these 3 facilities. But because of the way the 3 different facilities are situated on our plant, we're going to have likely one big overhead line of power on it that's going to have two different circuits hanging on those poles. So you're going to have one circuit going from the RTP to the AWPF, and then another circuit going from the RTP to the SVRP, right? And so the RTP electrical gear will be essentially the hub of this microgrid. That's why it's shaped in that way.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for.
All right. Next slide, please. All right. In April 2025, our board awarded a $29,489,400 contract to Royal Electric for construction of the regional treatment plant electrical upgrade. That project is now underway. It includes upgrade of the 21,000 volt service from PG&E, replacement of the 21,000 volt electrical switchgear with the new integrated power assembly, new transformers, replacement of the 480 volt electrical switchgear and cogeneration switchgear with two new integrated power assemblies, replacement of the existing standby generator with a new 2,000 kilowatt or 2 megawatt capacity standby generator. That's going to result in a huge improvement to power reliability at the plant in the event of a PG&E outage. And also includes underground duct banks to facilitate the interconnection. Our contractor has recently been focused on procurement of equipment and materials. They will soon mobilize to the regional treatment plant for the construction work. Construction should be complete in August of 2028. It's a large project that's going to take time to build. While we've been getting the ball rolling on construction of the RTP electrical upgrade, we have been working with the same engineering firm that designed the project to design the interconnection. The design will be complete within the next few months, after which we will begin negotiations with Royal Electric for construction of the interconnection. This approach will enable the interconnection to be completed in late 2028, about the same time the RTP electrical upgrade is completed.
And you might want to just throw in there when the renewable energy one will be complete also, just so the board can figure out, oh, we're building all this stuff. This will be done in 28, renewable energy 29.
Yeah. I'll back up and say the renewable energy improvements, the slide with the big exhibit, that project, assuming we take it out to bid this spring and get going in construction this fall, that project should be completed in early 2029. So right on the heels of all of these electrical improvements. All right. The total cost for the RTP electrical upgrade and interconnection will be approximately $40 million. Most of this cost will be financed through a low interest WIFIA loan. This project is also eligible for the federal investment tax credit. Next slide, please. All right. I hope it's apparent that we made some good progress on this program in the last year, and our projects have gained some momentum. We have a lot of work to do in the next few years to complete these projects. Many action items related to these projects will be coming to the Recycled Water Committee and board in the year ahead. That's all for me. I'm glad to answer any questions you may have. We also have Jerry Valadeo and Jennifer Gonzalez with us. They are managing these individual projects and can also answer your questions. Thanks for bearing with me. We greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you very much. Any further board comments?
Hey, Matt, I have a question concerning I think you might have explained this before in the past, but the economics of the food trucks that are coming in. Is there any transaction in terms of, are we charging them to bring it?
We
So
do
we charge a fee.
shipping fees for those companies to dispose of their material into our facility. Now it's a modest amount, and it's really just enough to cover the cost of essentially running just that station. It's important that we be competitive with those tipping fees because it's important in the long term for us to attract a lot of that food waste slurry for the purposes of generating lots of biogas.
And those aren't set up via contract. Those are just, we take them as they come, or are
Correct.
those set up?
Much like we have we have a liquid waste hauling program where we receive a variety of trucked in waste, septage, grease, those kinds of wastes. we are handling food waste slurry in a similar way. We do have agreements with the individual trucking agencies to make sure they're not sending in any material that could be potentially be harmful to our biological treatment processes. But it's not like we don't have long-term contracts. It's more like a spot commodity type service.
But it is an agreement with Energia to coordinate bringing in that food waste. So it's not like, if you're all food waste haulers, we're not dealing with you individually. We're dealing with Energia for the first 3 years at this point in time.
Yeah,
After we get some experience, we'll see where it goes, but there is some insulation, if you will.
Great. Thank you.
Maybe.
Thank you for the update, and really we're reminded there's a lot of moving parts with this, and there's already a lot else going on in the agency. So to see how much progress you guys are doing and pushing with this is just really greatly appreciated. So excited to see this move forward. Just question, is it possible to do like a Gantt chart a little bit and kind of just see the different phases of what's the different elements associated with the project and kind of just the time frame? And maybe when we get the updates, it just kind of helps as a visual to kind of look at projections.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice to have like I said, a Gantt chart associated with this graphic of what piece is going where.
Like it.
We have Gantt charts. That's what we do as project managers. We could put
for
together. We want to see the
guys are
detailed
sick.
Gantt charts that we have. It's hard to read. It's too much, but we will
User-friendly
We will put
version.
together a simplified Gantt chart of all 4 projects. What I need to emphasize, I think you've pointed it out, we're running a lot of these projects in parallel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if we run them in sequence, it'd take 10 years.
Totally.
So we're doing our best to push hard to run them in parallel.
Awesome. Nope. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Ron.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up with what Tyler said. I agree. Kudos to staff, Matt,
Thank you.
Paul. I was with Paul on the ad hoc committee. Wasn't too long ago. And my thoughts were a great project. I wanted to move forward with it. And my thoughts back then were 10 years, 20 years, maybe 30 years.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the economics are there. So
Yeah.
and with the availability of the federal investment tax credit, it really does make sense to move forward now
Makes good sense. Yeah.
before it goes away. So
Tom.
Yeah, I'd love just to add my thanks, and we look forward to watching you juggle with fascination as you do all these parallel projects. We did a great job with respect to Pure Water Monterey in terms of public relations. I know the food waste station's a much smaller thing than Pure Water Monterey, but we know that there have been chronic complaints about odors. In fact, this winter, a few times, there were folks in Pacific Grove, believe it or not, complaining about odors coming out of north of Marina when the atmospheric conditions were just wrong for PG in this case. I've occasionally smelled it in Monterey at the Naval Postgraduate School. So where I'm going with this is perhaps we ought to think about doing some sort of PR effort associated with the food waste, because if I understand it, it's pretty much all enclosed. And I wouldn't want the public getting too often the idea that, oh, Monterey One Water built this new smelly thing, and that's now taking some of the blame for the odor issues that I'm personally convinced are coming out of the compost operation adjacent to us, because it's 28 acres of open air compost. And even though it produces heat, which probably sends the odor high into the atmosphere under most atmospheric conditions, wintertime, temperature inversion, wind coming in the wrong direction, and you can get an interesting whiff. And the latest complaint was something about a big load of rotting broccoli that had been, or no, Brussels sprouts I don't know whether it's true or not, but it certainly made the rounds on Nextdoor. So whatever we can do to smooth that through the public's mind, I think would be appropriate.
Thank you very much. I just want to offer my thanks and appreciation for all of you. Given what we did at the end of last year in this agency, this is it's amazing that you could even have this ready for now. So I'm
This
just
is the next
impressed.
big thing. Right?
I'm impressed.
Pure Water Monterey was a very big thing.
Right.
We like to think of this as the next big thing.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next item.
I'll go, is there a motion?
Information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we're going to item 6C, and who is going to present?
I mean, Jerry?
Jerry? All right. Thanks, Jerry. Come on up.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair Nick Smith and members of the committee. My name is Jerry Valadale. I'm an associate engineer with Monterey One Water. In October 2024, the board approved a professional service agreement with Black & Veatch for engineering services for the CP 361 renewable energy improvements projects in the amount of $12,701. As mentioned by Matt, the goal of the project is to improve energy efficiency, reduce emissions, and generate new revenue from renewable natural gas sales, or RNG, sales to PG&E. Major elements include digester gas handling upgrades, an RNG upgrading system for pipeline injection, and installation of 5 linear generators. As design has progressed, additional engineering analysis and project elements were identified as necessary to meet project objectives and regulatory requirements. As a result, the scope of engineering work has expanded beyond the original approved services. An additional $708,614 is needed to amend Black & Veatch's engineering services contract to complete the design through the bid phase. The project bid phase is anticipated to begin in mid-April 2026 with construction award expected in August. Staff requested a proposal from Black & Veatch to provide engineering service during construction, and these services are necessary to support the construction of the project. The engineering services during construction includes reviewing submittals, preparatory responses to requests for information, design revisions during construction phase, and attending meetings and startup and commissioning coordination meetings and preparation of record drawings. The construction phase is anticipated to take approximately 36 months, and Black & Veatch's proposed fee is $2,067,655 for engineering service during construction, which is reasonable for a project of this size and duration. The combined proposed amendment amount is $2,776,269 for the additional engineering design service and engineering service during construction. So the fiscal impact is that it's estimated that the renewable energy improvement project will cost, as Matt mentioned, approximately $52.6 million, including all necessary professional services such as engineering and construction management, and the cost that must be paid to PG&E for the RNG injection station and pipeline, which is the next agenda item. These costs will be spread out over approximately 4 years of design and construction activity. Much of this project was approved as part of the capital improvement program budget of fiscal year 5 through 26. The latest project costs will be incorporated into the proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year 26-27. The project's cost will be financed through the loan. The project will be eligible for a federal investment tax credit of up to 3% of the total project costs. And the future debt payments will be paid by the energy fund, which will be funded by a combination of sewer rate revenues and new revenues from RNG sales in the future. As Matt mentioned, the earlier estimates for new revenue for RNG sales to PG&E are 1.9 to 5.85 million per year. Now, staff asks that the Recycle Water Committee recommends that the board approve an amendment to the professional service agreement with Black & Veatch for additional design services and engineering service during construction for the CP 361 renewable energy improvements project, not to exceed an amount of $2,776,269. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much. Board member questions, comments?
Move approval.
All right, motion by Moore.
I'll second it.
Go ahead, Ron. Sorry. And I think all the attendees are ours, correct? Okay, so we have no public comment. Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Valadeo, and I know you're on the next item as well.
So the next one is same project, CP 361 Energy Improvement Project. And this deals with PG design and constructing the RNG injection station and RNG pipeline to convey the RNG gas and inject into PG&E's main transmission line. These are the two major components of that CP361 project. PG is best positioned to perform this work because PG will ultimately own, operate, and maintain the injection station and the transmission pipeline, and because the facilities must meet PG&E's system and safety requirements. The PG&E's design services for the RNG injection station on the transmission pipeline is $1,682,200. PG&E has also recommended of RNG injection skid, the 60% design stage due to the anticipated long fabrication lead times of approximately 6 to 9 months, depending on material availability. The estimated cost for RNG injection station is $1,002,000. Now, a separate approval for construction cost for RNG injection station and transmission line is anticipated to be brought to the recycle committee in November this year. The anticipated additional construction cost is approximately $4.3 million. This amount will be behind as PG&E proceeds further into the design phase. Again, the fiscal impact is the same as I stated in the previous staff report, as this is part of the CP361 project. And we are exploring the possibility of a full incentive payment from PG&E, the interconnection component. This incentive is made possible by the state assemblies, AB 2013. Looking at this, right now, the right now for other projects, but we'll probably be put on the wait list. And so staff asked that the Recycle Water Committee recommend that the board approve the renewable gas interconnection agreement with PG&E in support of the CP361 Renewable Energy Improvements Project, including one, the RNG injection station and pipeline design services design in the not to exceed amount of $1,682,200 and procurement of the RNG injection station RNG injection skid in the not to exceed amount of $1,302,000. Now, happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much, board member. Questions, Dr. Moore?
So I don't see the agreement itself in the board packet. If you would at least make sure that when this comes before the board, it incorporates that agreement.
Yeah, we'll include that in attachment. We're currently reviewing that.
Yeah. I hear we have some attorneys on the board of directors, and sometimes they see things that those of us who aren't attorneys don't see. And, you know, extra eyes doesn't hurt. No offense to Mr. Gilpin.
Thank you. Any further comments, Ken?
This is more for Paul. You've explained this to me before, but the tax credit, it's because we're a public agency, it's a direct payment.
Correct.
From the IRS.
Yes.
So they will cover 30% of the cost with direct payment.
There's a range that they would cover depending on if you meet certain criteria, but it's the estimate that we would be at 30% for this particular project. So yes, it is a direct payment. Whereas if a private company did it, they would get a tax, literally a tax credit.
Understand.
So,
okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, it's actually it's a nice program that they have, not just for this sort of stuff, but on the water recycling side, there's an industrial tax credit, very much similar structure as this one, and it's proving to be very popular, as one can imagine.
And under this administration, would you say that it's pretty safe right now in terms of have you heard that it's not going to be chopped?
For these types of projects, it seems to be safe. I mean, I guess you never know, but for these types of projects, it seems to be very safe. Now, if we were talking about others, like whether it be solar or other electrification, that's different. But this administration has not taken the hatchet to biogas and other renewables like that.
That's it.
Further-
Thanks.
Tom?
I believe our general manager, Mr. Shudo, is going to ensure that we get that check by promising to frame a copy of the check with the president's signature on it.
Okay. All right.
Do I have to state where that frame might go?
All right. So we have no public commenters today, just staff. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Habina,
Second.
second by Stefani. And no further discussion. We'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Valadeo.
Thank you.
All right, some more things for energy programs. And I think we have another one. We're on E. Jennifer Gonzalez here.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Smith and members of the committee. Jennifer Gonzalez, your CIP manager. As Matt already stated, in April of 2025, we came to the Recycled Water Committee and the board to award our RTP electrical upgrade project for just under $30 million, $29,489,400, plus a $1 million contingency. To date, we have authorized 2 contract change orders that have come in just under that $1 million. So the first one was $790,192. That increased the size of the switchgear that was originally designed to accommodate future projects, including the renewable energy project and the future biosolids project that we're working on as well now. The second change order that we've already authorized was for $114,900, and that was to increase the size of the 2 integrated power assemblies to accommodate that larger switchgear size. They were related. There is a third change order that we are asking for your approval to do all of the work that's associated with the SCADA and the microgrid control panel that will work with those other 2 increase in size to the switchgear. So we're recommending that you authorize approval of a third contract change order for $638,471 for work associated with that microgrid control panel to allow the future interconnection with AWPF, SVRP, and the RTP. All of the change orders considered to date have been the result of owner-initiated changes, not from the contractor. It's been additional work that we've been looking forward to make sure that all of our future projects that are currently in design have enough energy so that we don't come up short later. Staff is requesting release of additional contingency for future changes so that there are not unnecessary delays to construction. Staff requests that the Recycled Water Committee consider recommending to the board approval of the third contract change order in the amount of $638,471 to the Royal Electric construction contract for the CP 310 project. And then the second item would be to release an additional $1 million of contingency that could be used in the future to bring the total contingency amount to $2,638,471. And I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Board member questions, comments? Tyler?
I'm just wondering, typically projects have a contingency of 10%. Seems like we're trying to go a little bit under that. And I know that there's sometimes intentional reasons to do that, but I just wonder, do we want to cushion that a little bit more to get us closer to that 10%, just in case things like what has occurred staff can have the runway of not slowing down the project while we're waiting for approval?
So we can certainly do that, Tyler. The limitation on the $1 million was frankly me limiting what they're trying to ask for. And it goes back to earlier on when every change order came before the board, or there was like a small contingency for consultant contracts. But to expedite things, as Jen just mentioned, we started doing a little larger contingency. It used to be percentages, The second we started getting to $1 million, one of the board members was like, hey, you might need to slow that down. So we capped it at in that ballpark. I think some of the other projects may have had larger ones, but if the board is open to, I'm just going to say, let's say a 5% or a 10% contingency to work with change orders, we can certainly do that. If that's not the will of the board, then we can do what we've done here is we run it up until we're almost out and we come ask for more. It still has allowed Jen to negotiate close to $800,000 change order and another one for 114. So that's awesome because we're not slowing the contractor down. But if there is an openness, we can explore various ways to increase that.
I would just add that for this particular project, Jen's recommendation will get us to where we need to be. And the cumulative change order amount will be approaching roughly that 10% amount. But if you think about it, most of the projects that we're doing for efficiency reasons, we're packaging many small projects into fewer larger projects. And what that will mean is the project value will likely be more than 10 million going forward. It's just an efficient way to deliver projects. So, 10% of that, $1 million is, if we have a 20 or $30 million job, $1 million is like 3% of the contract value. So what I would recommend is that if it's your will, that we take this under advisement such that when we revisit the purchasing and payment procurement manual where all of this is documented, perhaps that's the appropriate vehicle for making this change. But for today, we'd be very glad if you could proceed with Jen's recommendation.
Would staff be opposed to, because it brings us to 2.6. So would staff be okay if we did 1.4 and that way it kind of brings us roughly around
3 million? So a total of 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to kind of give a little bit more wiggle room.
We wouldn't be opposed.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, no,
push it. I just want to have the flexibility so that we don't slow things
That
down.
sounds great, and we can adjust the staff report to reflect that for the board.
Just for a total of 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then moving in the future, like we just talked about this job coming to you in April, that's a $40 million job. So we need to look at that.
Mhm.
I mean, is the board comfortable with the 10%, which would be $4 million, which seems like an awful lot, or is it some incremental difference? But we can bring that forward in the procurement manual, which Johanna has been working on, and we're trying to integrate it with the construction side of things as
My
well.
last little comment on this is, again, I want to provide flexibility so we aren't a piece of getting in the way. And since I've been with this agency, anytime staff has come to us about increasing the amount of funding, I mean, once the project started, we're not going to say, no, don't do that. So it just kind of seemed a little bit silly to me. And I trust staff to have the discretion. I don't assume that we're going to spend all the contingency for all these projects, but it's just to provide that cushion, that flexibility. And if it's 40 million, yeah, the contingency is going to be a lot larger, but that's because we're approving a $40 million project, which is what we should be taking into consideration as a board when we're considering approving that project. So that's just my last little thought on it.
All right. All right. Anyone else? So I entertain a motion to move approval with the change of the addition going up to total contingency of 3 million.
I'll move approval.
All right. Got a motion.
Can we get some clarification on the motion? I think the clarification was actually to move the contingency, the additional contingency from 1 million to 1.4 million.
Well, that's what he said,
Well,
but
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying that we want to get up to 3.
I'll just say it like this. I'll make the motion
up
so
to
that
3.
it gets to 10% of the total project cost.
Okay.
And it's actually, there's 2 items here. One is to approve the owner initiated change order, and the second would be to increase for a total of 10%.
That's my motion.
Okay. 10% is going to be a different number. I get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll be like 2.9.
Yes.
We'll figure it
Okay.
out.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
And we have a motion by Kent or Tyler. Do you have a second by Kent? Okay. Any further discussion? All right. So you have your 2. All take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Passes unanimously with amendments. Thank you. All right. We go to 6F, Allison Amamura.
Good afternoon, Chair Smith and committee members. I'm Allison Imamura, Principal Engineer. In item 6F, staff is requesting a recommendation for the board to approve a contract amendment with Trestle Technologies for additional engineering service, providing technical support primarily focused on the advanced water purification facility water quality. The total contract to date is on the order of $1.5 million. The staff report highlights the important and valuable services that Trestle Technologies has provided to Monterey One Water, namely design services, optimizing the treatment processes, and assisting with regulatory compliance. This year, they're going to continue to provide water quality monitoring, assist staff with optimizing treatment processes and reducing chemical use as much as possible. The additional engineering scope requires a contract amendment to increase Trestle's budget by $225,820 for services this fiscal year. Specific tasks under this contract will be completed only if requested in writing by staff. The work will be paid from the Pure Water Fund, Department 58. Adequate budget was included in this year's fiscal year 26 budget. I would like to request that the Recycled Water Committee recommend board approval of a contract amendment with Trestle Technologies for a not to exceed amount of $225,820 for a total contract amount of $1,781,551. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Board questions, committee questions. All right. Any? Seeing no public commenters. Thank you, Allison. Entertain
Move
action.
approval.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Allison. Move on to 6G, and this is Mr. Shudo.
Thank you, Chair Smith. So as you all know, Best Best and Krieger has been our counsel since 2022, since March of 2022. In addition to providing general counsel work, there's a number of specialty traits that they do for us in terms of employment, construction, helping with PRAs, et cetera, et cetera. In that period of time, Best and Krieger has not increased their rates. So we're at 4 years now. And Jim and I have talked about this last year to increase the rates based on, frankly, some percentage increase over that period of time, which is reflected in attachment B, the fee schedule on page 52 of 52 of the board agenda. I was supposed to get this to you in November, and I did not. So what this item is requesting is an adjustment to Best and Krieger's rates retroactive to January 1st, just so we can begin the calendar year with those consistent rates. Jim, is there anything you want to say on this, or we can certainly answer questions from the board if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't want to add too much, Paul, because of my position here, but I would just tell you it's been a pleasure working for you all over the last 4 years. As Paul mentioned, we had agreed to maintain our rates for the first 3 years, and we did that. Just to give you a like 40,000 foot perspective, I looked at the numbers, and if you look at the annualized fees that we've been billing to the agency over the last 4 years, we've dropped those, decreased the overall fees by about $50,000 per year since 2022, and in 2025 our total fees were $303 to you, compared to $353 the year before and $409 the year before that. So I think we've found some efficiencies in the work and are delivering the same level of product and at the same time reducing the fees, but to the agency, but our costs on our side, as yours, are going up. So my administrative staff have pushed forward requests for these rates, and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gilpin. Tom?
Yeah, so Mr. Gilpin, I see in the rate schedule four types of issues that are charged at 365 an hour versus 338 an hour. Modestly significant difference. What makes those four areas, water rights, the environmental things, and statewide water issues and legislation, what makes those a harder lift?
Well, I think, Tom, as you can imagine, in these various genres, there are market rates that those types of specialists garner in the market. Um, and their market rates are substantially higher um, than a general services type of individual. I think maybe Paul can give you perspective on what you're paying to your environmental folks prior to us taking that work over, et cetera. So the market is just substantially different. The individuals are specialized in those niche areas, and those are the rates that
Okay.
they generally receive. So,
All right. So it's recognition of what's going on in the market
correct.
for those. A related question, though, I can imagine all sorts of issues that arise that might have to do with federal and state budgeting and also, I don't know, environmental issues. And so how do you decide which rate to use for a piece of work that crosses the boundaries here?
Well, typically, historically, Tom, it's been dealt with by the individual handling the work. There's specialists and then
Okay.
there's the generalists. So, I mean, uh, for example, I get pulled in on stuff to help sort stuff out, water quality. You were dealing with Andre Monette, but he was billing you at a specialized rate, whereas the general side of it, I was providing at a general counsel rate. Uh, so that's how
So
that's
we
dealt
did.
with. And certainly dealing with the work. I mean, when we're going to the CPUC, that work is segregated, litigation is segregated. Any water rights issues, you haven't had many of those to date that we've handled. So, they're fairly easily identified and, work with in terms of Paul and determining what that work is.
So Tom, what we generally get each month is, I don't even know how many. It's got to be 8 to 12 invoices based on services provided. So
Right.
we'll get the general counsel invoice and we'll get the construction invoice, the employment law invoice. And the way we operate, just so you all know, is it goes to the person who's requested the service first to say, yes, we requested it and it was about that many hours. And then ultimately all those come to me. So it is segmented by service area. And I did want to point out, I believe you may have been looking at the old rates at the 338, which was on page 45 of 52. The proposed new rates to be effective January 1 are in Exhibit B on page 52.
Yes, thank you very much for that correction. And I assume we rely on Mr. Gilpin to make sure that when we need that specialty counsel, that they don't end up being asked to do general counsel work, but charging us the higher rate, that he sorts all that out.
It's a combination of Jim and also the director here that is requesting that
Okay.
information.
All right, thank
Yeah,
you.
on my end, Tom, it all goes, as Paul indicated, segregated rates, and those specialists aren't doing generalized services and billing to the general counsel rate. So, and if they were billing to that matter, their rate would be dropped to the general rate anyway. So,
Thank you very much.
Any further comments? Yeah, I'll just, I'll throw it out there. I think it's appropriate. It's all the inflationary pressures the last 4 years have been insane, and they did a great job and kept the costs relatively low, actually. So I think it's completely appropriate. And I know that when you have a specialist working on, they know when they're getting out of their lane. They're not trying to do the work, the general counsel work. They're like, no, they do the work and they're done. So, anyway, I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Tom, and motion by Tom, second by Kent. Any further discussion? All right. Take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you for continuing with the firm here for us, and we appreciate the work.
Thank you all. I appreciate the relationship.
And now we'll go to staff reports. Mr. Shudo.
Just a couple quick things. One is in reference to Monterey County Water Resources Agency. As you all know, we've been working with them frequently on a number of issues. Lawrence provided the Water Resources Agency proposed budget for 26-27 to them today. One of the issues that I'm sure will be discussed, I just want to give you a heads up, is a proposed capital project on their electrical. So you just talked about our electrical and you saw the magnitude of costs. And we know how sensitive the Water Resources Agency are to increased cost. The need to redo the electrical is there. It's 35 years old. Well, maybe not that old, but pretty darn close, 27 years old. And for fiscal year 26-27, there is a request of $2.5 million for the initiation of that project. It goes on for a couple years and bounces up to 5 point.
Total is 8.1.
Oh, 8.1? Okay. Oh, that's 5 point in the following year. So it's a big capital project for them. And I just want to be sensitive to what we're asking and frankly, the people that will be paying for it. So that's just for information only.
That's strictly CSIP.
Yes. It's for SVRP, but it'll go to the water resources. So our end company will be going to the CSIP contributors on that, on how and if they move it forward. Another thing that will be coming to us in the next few months, a number of items having to do with CalAm, their proposed desal plant, use of our outfall, the NPDES permit from the regional board for the outfall. Probably starting in February, you'll hear about or be requested to weigh in on a coastal development permit for modifications to the outfall. And then we'll have some discussions and probably presentation on the NPDES permit that we applied for last year that is due to go before the regional board in August, October timeframe. And then, of course, as that occurs, there's going to be increased anxiousness on having an outfall agreement for the brine. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. That's all coming at us also in the next few months. With that, that's all I had.
In addition, we will have more information on the new cost allocation plan and the rate study for the board to consider. And then we finished the WRA budget today, and in the next few weeks, we'll finish the agency budget and we'll present to the board to review the proposed budget for the FY 2020 and 27. This concludes my update.
Thank you. Any further staff updates? All right. And any committee member reports or comments?
Just apologize for being a little bit late. There was a road closure not far from my house that I got boxed in on. It's Marina Station work, digging up a traffic circle. It was brand new and opened a year ago, and now they're digging it up again. I don't know what's going on.
There's a lot of road work going on in our cities and communities right now. All right. Thank you, everybody. And so that'll bring us to the end of the agenda. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you so much for everything.